All right. So, what if you've been setting yourself up for failure this full time? It's time to face the hard truth. You might be holding yourself back. So, we often sabotage our own success without even realizing it. Are you guilty of this? In this episode, I'm sitting down with Heather Stewart and we're going to uncover the hidden reasons why you're not hitting your goals. And it's probably not what you think. All right, welcome back to Talking Business with Ritz, the show that showcases the human behind the title before the offer. I'm your host, Ritzel, Rectra, and I'm so excited about today's conversation because if you've ever felt like your goals are slipping out of your reach, you're not alone. We're here to talk about real struggles and real solutions. So stick with us today because we're diving deep into what's holding you back and how to overcome it. All right, we are now in the Know the Expert segment. Pardon me. Pardon, I forgot. All right. Now, today's expert guest, Miss Heather Stewart, is a life coach who specializes in helping overwhelmed women figure out why they're not reaching their goals and, more importantly, how to fix it. Let me just change my angle. Okay, now she brings years of experience from the corporate finance world and has transformed that expertise into coaching that changes lives. Okay, let me put her on stage so I'm not talking by myself. Here we go. Now, she helps women who are overwhelmed and exhausted to finally start achieving their goals. So, without sacrificing themselves in the process, and she's here to help you break free from the patterns that are holding you back. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Miss Heather Stewart.
Yeah.
All right, Miss Heather, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Thank you so much. I love applause. That was excellent.
All right, now let's get to know the person behind the title. Are you ready, Heather?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Now, first, let's start with the first question. Who is Miss Heather Stewart as a person?
Oh my goodness, that's a very big question, but I can say that I am a passionate wellness advocate and wellness in not just the physical wellness. I've been studying and changing myself for 25 years after leaving the corporate world. So
Mhm.
I love being well myself. So when I got myself well, I realized, wow, it feels so good to feel good. And almost everything that I do is towards that end. So I do yoga and I teach yoga and tai chi and I work out and I try to
Wow.
take care of myself. And I used to be a massage therapist. And before that, I was 15 years as a corporate finance accountant. So I had that business background and I knew that I could help people more than just with dollars and cents. I could help people with their whole life. So as I worked on myself, I realized that all the things that I was learning were transferable to other people so they didn't have to go through the struggles. So that's it's kind of like me. That's me. I love helping people transform their lives into what makes them feel good. Really.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Good to know. Now, Heather, what's one key lesson you've learned early on that other online entrepreneurs should know?
Patience. So
Mm.
you are going to see once you start being an entrepreneur, I don't know, the algorithms recognize you and they send you all these things of make $10,000 a month overnight, do this, they make it sound just follow these steps and it's easy. But when you first start into the world of entrepreneurship, your idea may not be fully formed in a way that is going to go to the market the way the market needs it. You've got a great
Mhm.
idea, but it's not tested yet. And it's going to change and transform over time as you start to work. And there's no overnight successes. You will hear stories of overnight successes. And when you invest all of your energy into why aren't I successful? Look how successful they are, then
Mhm.
you are sabotaging yourself and the time that it actually takes to build something. You can't plant a seed to grow a vegetable and then start yelling at it because it's the next day it's not there. It's like you
Yeah,
plant
yeah.
your seeds, you take care of them, and you let them start to grow. So when you first become an entrepreneur, one of the things you need to do is be very patient with yourself and the process. Be
Mhm.
open and curious to learning what's working and what's not. So there's no mistakes. If something doesn't work out, think about, oh, that was interesting. I wonder why it didn't work and what to do differently. And then if you are going to be an entrepreneur, know that there's going to be times it feels like it's not working. And
Yeah,
as
yeah.
long as, yeah, and
Yeah.
as long as you can stay connected with the reason that you're doing it, then that'll help you get through those times. I mean, I'm super connected with why my mission is to do what I do. So even when it's not very busy, I'm like, that's okay. The people who need me are there, and they're just waiting for me to pop out on a big screen and talk to them.
All right. Now, can you tell us a bit more about how you've started as a real life? Why a
Yeah.
real life coach, not just life coach? It
Well,
takes.
yeah, I know. It's not, I made it up myself. I made the term up. So I originally, as I was saying, my first career, I was actually a CPA. I was a
Ah.
senior executive of finance in a billion-dollar company. And I was working very hard and I was working a lot I felt like I was trading my life for dollars. And um, don't get me wrong, having money is a useful thing, but I felt like there were more things that I needed to do other than just sit.
Mhm.
So I
No.
left, and that's when I became a yoga teacher. And I actually went back to school to become a massage therapist. So I was doing all of that. And um, the the shift it does take time. And to ask that question again, tell me what was the second part of that question?
Um. Second question. So
Oh,
yeah. Why was it? Why did you call yourself real life coach,
the real
not just
coach,
like a
right.
life coach?
So I originally, because of my background, I was originally doing business coaching because
Ah.
I had all that business background. And then in 2021, I had a stroke
Oh.
and I was in the hospital. It was during COVID. And so nobody could visit me and I couldn't see properly. And I was in the emergency room because there was no beds in the hospital during COVID. And
Mhm.
so I spent 3 days by myself in the quiet. And I just realized that I needed to help people more than just with their businesses. I needed to help them with kind of all the pieces of their life so that when things happened, that they could navigate them with relative ease. I mean, it's not necessarily easy to have a stroke. I don't recommend it, but I navigated it well because I had done all the work on all the other parts of my life. And what I
Mhm.
realized was clients that I'd been talking to who had talked to other coaches had said to me, oh, thank goodness, because this other coach told me to do, like, we would work on things that solutions for them. And they would
Mhm.
compare it to other advice they'd been given. And I mean, every coach has their own approach. But
Yeah,
one
yeah.
person in particular, I remember, said to me that he didn't do any of the things because he was overwhelmed by all the things that he needed to do. So I called myself a real life coach because the solutions have to fit your real life as they are now. I mean, yes, we are moving to,
Oh,
you're
okay.
moving to the life that you want, but if they don't fit your life right now, you're not going to get to that life that you want. It's like you'll give up halfway there. So it has to
Okay.
fit your real life. Yeah, that's where I came up with that.
Interesting. In the moment coach.
Yes, yes.
All right. All right. Thank you for sharing that. That
Absolutely.
answers my question. All right. Now it's time for the lightning round of questions. Are you ready, Heather?
Sure.
Right. Here we go. So, first question: what is your favorite word and why?
Harmonize.
Harmonize. Why?
Harmonize. Because people throw around the word balance all the time, work-life balance,
Mhm,
work-life
mhm.
balance, work-life balance. And if you think of it balance, it's like this point of a needle almost, like you have to be so still and so focused on that one point that there's no growth happening. There's no change can happen because if you change something, the balance is thrown off. Where
Oh, yeah.
harmonize is things keep coming into your life and you're going to figure out how to kind of it's like a stand-up paddleboard. As the waves come, you're going to figure out how to stay standing on the board and just be in harmony with what's going on without it knocking you over. So you're not trying
Mm,
to stay still, you're trying to just go with the flow. That's a
go
good way
with
to
the flow.
describe it. Yeah.
Go with the
So
flow.
don't try to keep everything static and the same. Know that nothing ever stays the same, but be okay with that movement that you can kind of stay harmonized with what's going on.
Right. So it. I'm imagining as you're saying that. I'm imagining a tall bamboo. When the wind blows, the bamboo bends.
Yes.
Okay? All
And
right.
then it
Now,
comes
second.
back up when it's
Yes,
done.
it comes back up and it's done. Yes, you are right. All right. Now, second question: coffee or tea?
Tea.
Tea. Okay. All right. Now, next question: what's one book that has changed your life?
You are a badass at making money.
Ooh,
Yeah, I looked
have
up
to
at my
find this
shelf.
book.
So it's by Jen Sincero, and she spent many years struggling and struggling. And
Uh-huh.
she has a few. You are a badass, and you're a badass at making money. And either one of them you can start with. But she tells stories from her life to demonstrate why you're kind of getting yourself stuck, and that
Mhm.
you can do it if you. She gives you good comparisons to go, oh yeah,
Right,
I
right.
could actually do that, and she's very I like her writing style as well. She curses sometimes and she's funny. So it is a good book. Yeah.
All right.
Try
I'm
them
gonna
all.
look for it. Yeah,
I
yeah.
have a
I'm gonna
whole
look
list
for
of
it.
books. I could just send you a whole list of books if you want.
Sure, sure. Give me the list of those books. Yes.
Right?
Right, right. Okay. Now, cats or dogs?
Ooh. Do I have to pick?
No.
I
You like both? I like both too.
like both. So when I was a little kid, I was going to be a
Ah.
veterinarian. So
Oh.
I've always loved animals, and I like them all. I'd have a whole farm full if I could.
I like them both. I have them in one of my logos actually.
Oh yes, nice.
Yes. All right, now next question. Mountains or beaches for a getaway?
Ooh,
Which one?
hmm, mountains.
Mount-
Although I love beaches. Like it is hard. That's a hard decision too, right? But I don't always want to. When I think of beach big getaways, it's staying still and
Mm-hmm.
just relaxing, which I love doing. But
Mm-hmm.
for instance, actually, I just came back this week from Scotland, and I was
Mm-hmm.
walking. I was walking in the Highlands, so it's up and down and up and down and up and down. And
So
mountains, you get such an amazing higher perspective view of the world. So when you stand up there and you see how big the world is, but how small it is, you
yeah,
just it's a different perspective than sitting on the
yeah,
beach.
indeed.
Yeah.
And the energy is different, right?
The energy is different, yeah. And when you're walking up and down the mountains, it's like a walking meditation. You're active,
Mm-hmm.
but you're inside your head.
Yes, indeed. All right. Now, early bird or night owl?
Night owl. So it's funny. Right now here at home, it's 11 in the morning, and I had that.
Yeah,
Can I be ready at 11 in the morning for a podcast?
we're the same actually.
Yes.
I'm also
I'll
like that. It's like 10 o'clock, I'm still sleepy.
Yes, yes. And I'll stay up late and be happy, but don't ask
Mm.
me to get up early. I'm a sunset person more than a sunrise person.
All right. I'm going to remember that. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. What's a fun fact about you that would surprise most people?
Until my 30s, probably, I was very shy.
Oh,
So, all growing up, all through university, I was so shy, I wouldn't order pizza over the telephone. And I wouldn't go
that,
in, I
that's
wouldn't,
shy.
I know, I wouldn't go into a store if I thought they would ask me for help, if I needed help, because I'd be like, oh my God, they saw me. So I spent a lot of my, until probably about, late 20s, early 30s, very, very shy. And I don't know if I did it intentionally, but I started moving myself out of it. It could have been the job that I was in because I had to do presentations, but
Uh-huh.
you kind of have to realize that talking in public, you won't die. You
Quite,
keep practicing.
yes, quite true. I've been there actually.
Yeah. Right?
When I started doing this one, it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh my
right.
God, how many tries, how many practice did I do? Like, I don't know, I can't count.
And in the beginning, if you go back to my very first videos, I think,
Mm.
oh my gosh, how embarrassing. But that was you then. It's like going back when you were a little kid and judging yourself for not being able to walk, right?
Quite
We
true.
have to give ourselves time to learn.
Right, right. Now, how would your friends describe you in 3 words?
Calm,
Mhm.
uh, funny, and eclectic.
All right.
I
Okay,
think
now,
I'll ask
uh-huh.
them.
Uh-huh. Okay. You're going to reconfirm.
Yeah, let me go and check. Can I
All
call a
right.
friend?
Okay. Okay, on a serious side, let's say you're talking to yourself right now, to your younger self. So
Hmm.
what advice would you give your younger self?
The advice I would give my younger self
Mhm.
is to be brave enough to know that your opinions are valid
Mhm.
and that it's safe for you to express yourself,
That's so nice.
right?
Beautiful. Yes, it's very beautiful.
Some grown-ups need to hear that too.
Exactly. Yes. A very insightful lightning round of questions. Thank you very much. All right, now that we've met Heather and learned a bit about her journey, it's time to dig into the good stuff. So,
Ooh.
in the next segment, yes, Heather's going to share practical steps you can take today to start moving forward to our goals. So, there's a lot of value coming your way. So, prepare to take some notes. Here we go. All right, welcome back, amazing fandom. So, you caught us dancing here.
Yeah.
All right. We are now in the learn from the expert segment, and most of us set big goals with the best intentions, but somewhere along the way, we lose momentum. So, what if the problem isn't the goal itself, but something deeper we haven't really acknowledged? So, our topic for today is about 3 surprising reasons or surprising reasons we are failing to achieve our goals and how to fix them. All right. Now, Heather, what what's the most common reason people struggle to achieve their goals, and how do they even begin to recognize it?
So I alluded to it a little bit earlier. And I think we were talking about being an entrepreneur. So people will set a goal, and it's you said, what if it's not the goal? But what if it is the goal? Because
Mm,
people will set goals. They'll say, "Oh, yeah, I want to do that," or they'll see something. "Oh, yes, I'm going to do that." And it's almost like it's like too. It could be correct because your instincts are very fast. But it could
mm,
be that all of the outside influences are making you choose goals. So maybe
mm,
your parents are telling you you have to do this, or your friends say, "Oh, you'd be so good at this, you should do this." Or you see all this marketing that is designed to make you take an action. "Oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this." So we saw this during COVID. Lots of people decided to become life coaches because they're like, "Oh, I'll just go become a life coach." Boom. But they didn't
right.
think about what this goal, why this goal. So
Mm,
why are you choosing that goal? Um, how is it an expression of you? How is it aligned with you and, if you want, like your soul's purpose, your passion,
mm,
the things that that drive you? Because what happens is if it's not your goal, like let's say I became an accountant because they said
right.
accountants make lots of money, go be an accountant. I said, okay, I'll go be an accountant. And I, I felt like felt like it was sucking the life out of me. So yeah, I was good at it because I kept getting promoted, but I didn't like it. So if there was a chance for me to not do things in
Mhm.
that job, I would not do them. Right? If a door opened for me, I'd go, yeah, I'm not going to do this anymore. So I opened my own door and left. But when you're doing something that is something that's aligned for you, that you have chosen because deep down that you know that's for you, even when it's harder, even in like
Mhm.
in the beginning when it's harder, you're like, I know it's hard right now, but this is my goal. So like I have been coaching, I think about 8 years now. Oh my goodness,
Mhm.
time flies. But
8 years.
and it looks different than when I started. Like everything has changed and shifted, but I knew the whole time that I am supposed to help people, and
Mm,
I'm supposed to help people unpack what's going on for them and to help them transform their life. So even when it's not going well, if something happens, um, I'm like, that's okay because I know I'm still going in the right direction. Maybe it's never a straight road, but
yeah.
knowing that it's your goal, so you have to strip out all of the advice from everybody else. You have to strip out the shoulds, coulds, shoulda, coulda, all of those things, and just sit with yourself and ask yourself,
Mhm.
is this really my goal? Is this really what I want to do? And even if
Mhm.
it seems totally crazy that you want to do something totally different, that's that advice. It's like your opinion matters. And it's okay if you want to do something completely different. Like if when I tell people that I went from being an accountant to being a massage therapist, I was a massage
Yeah,
therapist for
it's a
14
complete
years.
turnaround,
People
right?
go, "What? She's crazy." Sometimes my friends say I'm crazy. So, but I knew that that was more in a line with what I wanted, what was right for me than being an accountant. Does
Mm,
that make sense? So if it's
yeah.
not your goal, that's every time you have something that's going to be harder to do, you're not going to do it, right? You're going to procrastinate. You're going to drag your feet. You're going to scroll social media. You're going to do all of the things that make you busy without actually making you productive towards your goal. And there's lots of busy work. So like an entrepreneur, there's so much busy work you could do. That's why you hire Ritz to do the busy work, right? Get a
Exactly.
get a virtual solution person to help you. Ah, because you want to be spending your time doing the things that get you closer to your goal, not the things that are just filling time.
True, true. That makes a lot of sense actually. So it's not just about the goal itself, but understanding your why, why
Yeah.
you're choosing it in the first place,
And
right?
you hear that talked about a lot, but you have to actually sit down and, if you have to, write it on a piece of paper. Why am I
Mm,
doing this? Why do I like this?
right.
And get down to it. Don't write down because it'll make me lots of money, because I don't know that that's I don't know that
I
that
think,
will keep you going in the long
yeah,
term.
yeah, true, true. I think for me, money is the byproduct. I mean, yeah, right?
It is.
It will come. It will come if
Yeah.
you're happy with what you're doing, actually.
Yes, definitely.
All right. So that's such a great point, Heather. Now, how often do you find that people are, I'm jumping into another
Yeah.
angle, right? I'm jumping into another angle. Say it's not the goal, right? They have the right goal. But then, how often do you find that people are unknowingly sabotaging their own goals? And what's the first step in breaking that cycle?
They it's very common for people to sabotage their goals. And there's a couple of reasons that I've seen, especially, which are they deep down, so
Mhm.
they know, this is the right business for me, I'm doing the right thing, but they don't think they deserve it. So
Uh-huh.
there's a self-worth aspect to it. So maybe at some point somebody told them, oh, you're not smart enough to run a business, or you'll never be successful at that because, and
Right.
again, I mean, it's the outside voices, but sometimes the outside voices are actually inside of you from a long time ago, right?
Right.
Like, I know someone who has a very successful business. Um, but this person believes that they can't run it by themselves. Like, there's a partnership that's splitting up. So one partner is taking part of the business and the other partner is keeping this other
Mhm.
part of the business. And they believe that they don't have the skills to do it. And if you look at the evidence, they have built this amazing business and they do have the skills, but I feel like they feel
They can't
less than
really
they
do.
are. Yeah,
Okay.
they don't believe they can have it, they don't believe they deserve it. It's all around that self-worth. So sometimes what it is unpacking. So if you've got the why, like, this is what I want to do and it is
Mhm.
the right thing and it's not happening, what actions are you taking to downplay yourself, to push yourself down so that you think, well, I'm really actually not good enough for this goal. This goal is too big and I'm just this small person, where
Right.
really everybody is able to do these big things. So they'll compare themselves to, like a Steve Jobs or something.
Others.
Like,
Yeah.
look how successful he was. I'm not like that. He was just a guy, you know, it's
Exactly.
just a guy. All these people are just people, and they got into alignment and they believed in themselves. So they
Mhm.
kept taking that action. So sometimes we do kind of some, like, uh, it's, it's like future visioning, where you can kind
Yeah.
of reprogram your subconscious to help you see, oh, it's okay. Yes, I can be that person who's successful, and I do deserve it. And so, I mean, if it's something that's really a deep problem,
Mm-hmm.
I have lots of practitioners that I know that I can refer people to if it's something that needs
Right. Right.
extra work. But
Right.
sometimes it's just the realization, oh my gosh, I keep doing that to myself. Of course I deserve it. And then moving forward.
Ha. Interesting.
Yeah.
Um, don't you think that fears also have something to do with holding us back?
Well, fear is part of that, right? So fear of being successful is like, ooh, I can't handle the success. I'm not good enough for that, which is a self-worth thing. There's also a fear of failing, because people think, oh, if I fail, people are going to judge me and my life is over. But each mistake you make is just information about what's not going to work. So I think Thomas Edison or something, I heard I won't get the number totally right. He had to did do like 198 or something tries to invent the light bulb.
Uh-huh,
So
uh-huh.
imagine if he said the first time, oh, that didn't work, that was a stupid idea, and he didn't do it. Right.
Oh no, thank God he did not stop.
Right? Thank goodness. Or we'd still be burning candles.
Right. And we won't be here.
Yeah. Right? Oh my
We won't be here
goodness.
talking. All right. So aside from picturing ourselves, right, that we are that successful person, what else do we need to do?
So one of the other things, so when I think about the goals, the make sure it's your goal, make sure that you have that self-worth. There was another
Mhm.
book called Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends Upon It. The
Uh-huh.
author has gone out of my head, but it's it's that recognizing that you deserve it. And then there's the personal integrity aspect. So lots of people will say, I have personal integrity, and they'll become quite offended that I question them on their personal integrity. So
Right.
personal integrity is not just, I committed to you that I would be here this morning. So that's
Mm-hmm.
my personal integrity. Commitments to
Right.
other people. A lot of people are really good at commitments to other people,
Mhm.
not good at commitments to themselves.
Exactly.
So
So
if you're,
true.
yeah, so being out of personal integrity with yourself is going to
Mhm.
stop you from doing your goals. And that's like, if you write in your calendar every morning, I'm going to spend an hour working on whatever it is. So, like every morning, I spend an hour applying to podcasts
Mhm.
and writing emails, because that's going to put my face out in the world and stay in contact with the people who are on my email list, so I can let them know,
Right.
you know, the things, give them tidbits of ideas and information. If I was out of alignment with my personal integrity, one morning I might go, I don't feel like it today. I had a late night. I can make many excuses. I'm just not feeling creative today. I don't want to write an email
Right.
or ex- we all are really good at making excuses of why we don't do things, instead of just saying, I didn't do it today, and that's not how I want to be. So I will begin again tomorrow and
Mm-hmm.
make sure that I stay in integrity with myself. And if you are finding that continually, like some of these are all related, if you're finding that you're continually not doing the things you say you're going to do,
Mm-hmm.
there's an examination of, well, is it your goal? If it's not your
Right.
goal, like if you're not doing it, maybe it's because it's not in alignment with you. Or if it is in alignment with you and you're not doing it, maybe you think that if you do all these things and you're successful, oh my God, I can't be a successful person. All my friends will leave me. There's people
Yeah,
who believe
yeah.
they we believe that if I'm successful, it changes all my relationships with my friends and family, and everybody will kick me off the island. I'm like, no, that's not right.
That's so true.
Right.
I bet that a lot of people are nodding their heads right now, just like me.
And don't be hard on yourself,
Hmm.
because you can't, like, if you weren't aware that that's was what you were doing, you can't
Mm.
be hard on yourself about it, right? So instead you say, oh wow, I am doing that. Okay, well, I'm going to endeavor to stop doing that. I'm going to take steps to stop doing that. I get people to book into their calendar the things that they're committing to, because
Mm.
it's in your calendar. You're making a date with yourself. If you put a
Yeah,
date with somebody else in your calendar, you do everything you can to do it. If you put a date with yourself into the calendar, you should give it the same priority.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good advice. I love that. Taking small steps and being kind to yourself in the process really makes the journey more sustainable.
Yeah. You can't, if you're beating yourself up all the time, then you're not going to enjoy the journey. And it's the wrong thing, because that questions your self-worth.
Exactly. So, Heather, how much of goal setting success comes down to mindset, and what are some key mindset shifts that people should focus on if they feel they're stuck in their current situation?
It is a lot about mindset, because you can take actions all day long. And I mean, we were talking about the busy work. You can do stuff all day long designing your website. If you never release it, nobody will
Mhm.
know you have a business, right?
True.
So
True.
the things, one of the things that I do when I have a lot that's going to be going on in a business, like if I'm launching something new, I'll write down everything I can think of
Right.
and which things can I delegate to someone, or which
Right.
things can happen later, or which things aren't as important. And you're trying to identify the pieces of there's always tasks to do, right?
Mhm.
So which tasks are actually going to move you closer to your goal? Having a fancy website is not going to move you any closer to your goal.
Right.
I have this term I call procrasti-branding. So some clients will go, well, I can't release my website because I can't decide on my brand colors. I'm like, it doesn't matter.
It's just a brand color.
Just
You
a
are the
brand.
brand.
Yes. Let this website go out into the world. Even if there's sometimes I'll release a website, even if I know that there's some links that are broken, because
Yeah.
then people will email me, your link is broken. I'm like, oh gosh,
Yeah,
thanks so
true,
much.
true.
What were you looking for?
That only shows they're very interested to know you more, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you get around to fixing everything. I mean, nothing is static. You get in there and you change
Quite
things.
true. Right.
So find when you know your goal and you want to move forward and you're still stuck, sit with yourself and think
Hmm.
about like what this is the mindset part. Like, why am I not doing the things? And it's not maybe a one and done question. Maybe it's something you sit with ask yourself every day and just write down on a piece of paper. Sometimes free writing is really helpful where you just write at the top, why am I not doing the things I need to do for my business?
Right.
And even if nothing comes to you, just start writing blah, blah, blah. And just start writing words. Don't think about it very much. And sometimes the answer will come to you.
Right.
Another tactic that I heard, I was in a workshop, you
Mhm.
you write, so I'm left-handed. So I would write the question with my left hand and I would
Uh-huh.
write the answer with my right hand because
Wow.
it hits a different part of your brain. So if you're right-handed, write the question with your right hand and write the answer with your left hand because a different synapses are firing and you might surprise yourself of what you answer.
Right.
Yeah.
It might take me the whole day to write one answer.
That's okay. That's okay. It doesn't have to be, we're not judging you on penmanship.
Right. It's amazing how powerful the mind can be, really.
It is. And it's amazing how our mind tricks us. We've taught our mind how to trick us. And
Right.
because everything your mind does, it's just trying to keep you safe, right?
Uh-huh.
So if
It
it thinks success is dangerous, it's going to trick you into not being successful. If your mind thinks that, you know, this happens all the time with people who go on calorie reduced diets. Your
Mhm.
mind thinks, well, if she doesn't have chocolate after dinner, that's dangerous. So we've got to make sure that she can't resist and she has to have I eat chocolate after dinner. She has to have chocolate after dinner. Otherwise, oh my God, what's happening in the world? Maybe there's a food shortage, the things that
Right.
your mind is just trying to keep you safe. So all the habits you have are just because your mind has learned those are you need to keep safe. The ones that don't work anymore, you've got to find a way to disconnect that safety
Mhm.
mechanism and hook in a new one.
Right. So sort of like a displacement, no?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Replace it with something else. So
All
when you
right.
unplug, you got to plug something else in, or else the old plug will try to come back in.
Right. Right. So just changing how we think about something can really transform our results.
Huge, huge, huge. Yes, definitely.
Right. And also about progress over perfection. So many of us get hung up on wanting things to be perfect.
And perfectionism is just another way to procrastinate,
Uh,
right?
yes.
It's just another way
Indeed.
to avoid releasing something into the world because
Indeed.
nothing is ever, ever perfect.
Indeed. Indeed. All right. Those were fantastic insights, Heather. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, I'm sure our audience has some burning questions for you. So let's open it up for our
All right.
Q&A segment. Here we go.
All right.
All right, let's start with the first question. So, our first question is, how do I know if I'm setting the right goals for myself?
Right. So this is a good, this is the basis of that first thing that's stopping you, right? So how do you know? And it's going to be a little bit of, what does it feel like when you think about that goal? So when you think about that goal, do you get super excited? Do you get energized? Do you feel like, even if it's something so crazy,
Mhm.
like, something that nobody's ever even heard of before? Like, I know people who their business is teaching people how to draw online. It's like, who would have thought of that even 10 years ago, right? But they've built huge businesses. So, does that goal make you excited and want to get up in the morning, even if you're not a morning person? Right. And and if the answer is yes, kind of, you might be going in the right direction, but maybe there's some other part to it. So write down all the reasons you want to do that goal. And every
Mm,
time you write an answer, ask ask yourself why. So if you say, I want to, this is a funny little example that I read somewhere. I want
mhm.
to learn to type faster. Why?
Uh-huh.
Why do you want to learn to type faster? Well, I want to learn to type faster so I can make more money. Well, why do you want to make more money? Well, I want to make more money because I want to move out of the city into the country. Well, why do you want to move into the country? Well, my mother lives in a small apartment and I want to move into the country to get a bigger house to look after my mom. I'm like, okay. So really what you want is to move to the country to look and move your
Ah,
mother in with you, not to type faster. So the
right.
more ways you can ask yourself why, because then maybe the goal isn't to type fast. If the goal is not to type faster, it's to um, have a bigger house that you can have your mother live with you. There's other ways to do that than learning to type faster. So it opens up the possibilities of how to achieve that goal when you get down to what the goal actually is. Does that make
Hmm.
sense?
Yeah, very interesting.
So ask yourself lots of why questions. And if you can't figure it out, I'll get somebody else to ask you why and just have it as a conversation. Right.
Right.
I ask why all the
Right.
time.
I'm going to start asking why.
Right? Yeah,
Right.
it's an amazing question. 2-year-olds know.
Indeed, indeed. We should be acting like, when we are trying to understand something,
Yeah,
like kids, no?
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
all right. Now, next question. What should I do when I lose motivation halfway through working on a goal?
Ooh, halfway. Wow, good for you for getting halfway, first of all. So, so if you're halfway, there is that evaluation of, is the destination still the right destination? Right?
Mm,
So am I still going in the right direction? If the answer is yes, when you lose motivation, there's something going on that's trying to derail you, right? There's something that's trying to stop you from reaching it. If it's the right goal and you're like, oh, I'm getting there, and then you're like, oh, you lose all steam.
yeah.
Um, is it because you're afraid to get there? And if it's not because you're afraid to get there, maybe you've just lost the vision of what it is. So to
Hmm.
spend some time, even write out. I love using writing because of the kinesthetic way it reacts with your brain. Like, write out what it's going to look like when you get there so that you can feel that energy of it again. It's that future visioning. It's like, I can see the goal, it's right
Right.
there. I can imagine that I'm there. I can imagine that I've achieved it. I'm excited by it. And that, because motivation doesn't last forever, right?
Yeah,
So
true.
you have to charge it up every now and then. And the consistent daily action will keep moving you. But if you feel you're starting to lose that energy, you got to
Hmm.
stoke up the fire again, stoke it up. Do that imagining of what will happen when you're successful, when you've reached the goal, how exciting it will be, what people will say that on the positive note, and how it will feel, and how your life will be different. All of the things that you can think of, bring that into your just 5 minutes of daydreaming about being successful. I prescribe daydreaming all the time. It's one of the best tools.
Interesting. Interesting. All right. Now, next question. How can I stay consistent when life keeps getting in the way?
So that is your personal integrity question, right?
Right.
And I think about this. This is going to be a strange comparison. So people who say that they have no money are smokers will still find
Mhm.
money to buy cigarettes.
Yes.
And so life, there's no denying it. Life is going to get in the way every now and then. Like something's going to happen. Like maybe you get sick or something happens. But consistency is on a regular basis doing the thing you said you're going to do.
Mhm.
So, what are you prioritizing? If your goal is important, it has priority. If you're putting something else, because life can be anything. It's like I
Mhm.
slept in, or, I wasn't in the mood, or my friend called me and I had a conversation with her. You're allowed to tell your friends, I'm at work right now. I'll call you later. You don't have to have, we're this world of instant answering everything now.
Mhm.
Let's go back to the world where you can wait a few hours to call your friend
Yeah.
back. So, life getting in the way, what are the things that are getting in the way? And are you prioritizing the wrong thing? Are you prioritizing these things that are cluttering your life with you reaching your goal?
All right. So we have to like discern
Mm.
exactly which one is important and urgent at the moment.
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes it is a choice you have to make, right? I have to tell my husband all the time, you can't talk to me right now. I'm at work. And I shut, because I work at home, and I shut the door. And and he's like, okay. And it's and it feels
Cool with
terrible at the
that.
beginning. It feels terrible at first because you're like, oh, I'm
Mhm.
being mean. But
Right.
instead presenting it as like, if I went to the office in a separate place, you wouldn't just come in and talk to me.
Yeah.
So
It's the same thing, right?
yeah, I just need this focus time right now. And then I'll come out and talk to you in like half an hour when I'm on my coffee break.
Right.
Right.
Right, right. That is so true. Okay, now thank you very much. We have more questions, but in the interest of time, we'll wrap up our Q&A here. So thank you so much, Heather Stewart,
Thank you.
for sharing your valuable insights with us. So now let's continue with the next segment. Here we go. All right, now welcome, Fantastic Bam Bam. Once again, our guest expert, Miss Heather Stewart, had shared so many valuable insights in the Learn from the Expert segment. Heather reminded us that mindset is everything when it comes to reaching our goals. So shifting from a really fixed mindset to actually growth mindset, that's what she's getting at, can change your entire approach. So how about you, Pam Bam? What's one mindset change you're ready to embrace today? Drop it in the comments below and let's keep growing together. All right, now Heather, thank you so much for these amazing insights that you brought today. I'm sure our Pam Bam here is feeling inspired and ready to take action. So, could you quickly share how they can connect with you for more guidance and support?
The easiest way to find me is my website, heatherstewart.coach. So, yeah, Heather Stewart, Stewart. There we are. Beautiful. There it is. Look how magical you are. And that has links there to everything. There's a quiz there that you can take to see where you're kind of need to start working, maybe, because it's not always business. Sometimes it's you need to work on something else, but there's a quiz there. And yeah, there's ways to contact me. All the ways to contact me are there.
All right. So you are also in socials?
Socials, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn.
There we go.
And I have a podcast called Back to Me where I talk to amazing human beings like you do And we
Mhm.
talk about ideas on wellness, like how to take care of yourself.
All right. So I'm
Oh, yeah.
plugging
And
right.
YouTube. Look at you. I
All
forgot.
right. So it's very easy. Just remember the handle at Heather Stewart Coaching, and you'll find her anywhere: Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and she is also in YouTube.
And
All
Spotify.
right. And Spotify. Yes. All right. So that's exactly what so many people need: clear, actionable support from Miss Heather. So, Pam Bams, if you're feeling inspired and want to take action, right, don't miss the chance to connect with Heather here. She has so much more to offer, and now is the perfect time to work with her to get closer to your goals. All right. Now, Heather, before we wrap up, I'd love for you to share some final words of wisdom with our audience or with our Pam Bams here. What's one piece of advice you'd leave us with today?
So your dreams are never too big, because if you can dream it,
Mhm.
then you can do it. So trust that the universe is sending you those dreams because it's something for you, and start to take some steps towards it. Even baby steps are fine. But trust yourself and trust your dreams.
Right. That's so powerful, Heather. I think that's exactly what a lot of us needed to hear today. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
All right. Now, thank you again for being here and sharing your wisdom. It's been such an enlightening and amazing conversation with you. I know our Pambams are walking away with new insights on how to reach their goal. I know I do, right? We'd love to have you back again on the show.
I'll be back anytime.
All right. I love that. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Heather Stewart. It's so fun.
It is fun.
All right. Coming up next on Talking Business with Ritz. All right. Another insightful episode is awaiting us next week. We will be talking about building an aligned business that you love. So mark your calendar on October 12th at 11 a.m. Eastern. So DM me your questions as always to be included in the Q&A segment. All right. Now, okay. Now, everyone, remember, all right, remember here at Talking Business with Ritz, it's all about humanizing entrepreneurship. Every entrepreneur's journey is different and every story matters. So thank you so much to our Pam Bams for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you never miss an episode. So until next time, stay inspired and keep pushing forward. This is Ritzel Rectra and our expert guest, Heather Stewart. Stay safe and healthy as we continue talking business with Ritz. Bye, everybody.